Mr. Lewis Hoff, Miss Caroline Rodriguez, I may not be able to pronounce properly the names, Mr. Luis Lobo, Miss Mikey, Mr. Mauricio, Mr. Mauli Sabla, honorable parliamentarians, our colleagues who have honored the invitation to come and share with us from Latin America, honorable colleagues, honorable members, different committees represented in this room. I am honored to be giving remarks at this important meeting where we are discussing a way forward on how to champion the collaboration between the Pan-African Parliament and Food and Agriculture Organization on how to attain the fulfillment of the Pan-African Parliament food and nutrition security in Africa. My sincere thanks go to the FAO for championing different initiatives on agriculture, especially this one on food and nutrition. I would also like to take us back to the Millennium Development Goals, because by 2015, every country in Africa, every country should have attained the MDG 1, that is ending hunger and poverty. But I want to say that even when now we have moved to the Sustainable Development Goals, a lot of countries are still lagging behind on achieving MDG 1. It's therefore on this particular note that moving forward the food and nutrition security is key on the Africa's agenda. However, this is also in line with the African Union Agenda 2063 of having a healthy and well-nourished citizenry of Africa. I'm very optimistic that the partnership between the Pan-African Parliament and FAO on moving food and nutrition in Africa is for the right cause and towards the achievement of the SDGs. Honorable members and colleagues, as a committee of rural economy, agriculture, natural resources and environment, which I happen to chair, and a committee directly having a mandate to champion this cause. And on behalf of all the other committees that are represented in this meeting, I am very positive that this is going to yield a positive result for Africa. To our friends and honorable colleagues from the Latin America, we are honored by your presence, and we look forward to learning from you through the different exchange programs on strengthening the Pan-African Parliament food and nutrition agenda. With those few remarks, I want to wish everyone a very successful deliberation while in this meeting, and hopefully we will come up with a very good way forward on how to move this agenda forward. Merci beaucoup, asante sana, shukran, thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jacqueline, for this welcoming statement. Now, with your permission, I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Lewis Hoff, representative of the FAO in South Africa. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Chairperson, Honorable Dr. Bernadette Lahai, 4th Vice President of the Pan-African Parliament, Honorable Jacqueline Amongin, Chairperson of the PAPS Committee on Rural Economy and Agriculture, Honorable Members of Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament, Members of the Parliament of the Latin American and Caribbean Parliamentary Front, Honorable Saboto Caesar, Maria Augusta Kale, Guadalupe Valdez, officials from the Pan-African Parliament, and officials from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you warm greetings on behalf of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations for a very successful and productive meeting today. and indeed the committee meetings that will follow. We appreciate very much the decision of the PAP members of Parliament to be here one day before your committee meetings commence, which is a clear demonstration of the importance you attach to food and nutrition security for Africa, and indeed the partnership being fostered between the Pan-Africa Parliament and FAO. Let me also add my words of welcome to the distinguished members of Parliament from the Latin American Caribbean Parliamentary Front Against Hunger. Honorable Maria Augusta Kale, Honorable Minister and MP Saboto Caesar.
Africa, Mr. Moriko Marilis, Regional Project Coordinator, School Food and FAO Regional Office for Africa. My dear brother, Mr. Mawuli Sabla, Chief Technical Advisor for CADEP, Nutrition, Food, FAO Regional Office for Africa. Our dear honorable parliamentarians and colleagues from the Latin America and the Caribbean Parliamentary Front Against Hunger. My dear honorable members of the PAP's committees on agriculture, justice, health, gender, and transport. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all on behalf of the President of the Pan-African Parliament, Honorable Roger Kododam, to this very important workshop for members of the Committees of Agriculture, Health, Transport, Gender, and Justice. Distinguished guests, colleagues, I would also like to seize this opportunity to especially welcome our special guest workshop, our honorable members from the Latin America and Caribbean Parliamentary Front Against Hunger. His Excellency Minister Sabato Caesar and Honorable Maria Augusta Kale, the General Coordinator of the PFHLAC. Please allow me to extend my personal gratitude and appreciation to these colleagues, the honorable members, especially from Latin America, who graciously accepted our invitation to participate in this workshop and to contribute to the debate to advance the food and security agenda in Africa. I'm sure that during this workshop, we definitely learn a lot from their invaluable experience regarding the expected role of parliamentarians in strengthening the legislative and institutional frameworks at the national and regional levels. Distinguished guests, honorable members, it is also my wish to commend the Parliamentary Front Against Hunger in Latin America and the Caribbean for the impressive progress that has been achieved since the establishment of this body in 2009. I have learned a lot since my interaction with FAO, that the establishment of the PFA-LAC, since that establishment, 4 framework laws have been produced as guides to countries, and more than 20 laws related.
Relatório do Programa de Desenvolvimento com base em Acre, no nosso escritório regional. Muito bom dia. Maqui sou Navarra. Estou a trabalhar na FAO, no Gabinete Regional para a África, na equipa nutricional, a trabalhar para a segurança alimentar e alimentação. Maurício Meirelles, também trabalho no Gabinete Regional para a África da FAO e sou um coordenador regional para o Programa de Coordenação para a África do Sul sobre nutrição. Um prazer estar aqui, colegas, bom dia. Abubakar Mbaia, sou membro do Parlamento do Malawi e membro do rosto do meu país, sou membro da Agricultura. Eu sou Nsiel Nhalukon, presidente da Comissão de Justiça e Direitos Humanos no meu país.
I chair the Committee on Agriculture
Ambiente.
Environment. Thank you.
Muito bom dia. Martin Rwanda.
Can you hear the English? Can you hear? No? Hello, can you hear? Can you hear me now? It's Marie-Claire Kambambio. I'm Senator from Congo, and at PAP, I'm member of the Committee on Health. And in my country, and I'm in the Committee of Health. Thank you.
Trabalho na Comissão de Saúde. Muito obrigado.
Todos. O meu nome é Maria Ivone Soares. Eu sou deputada moçambicana.
My name is Maria Ivone Soares, and I'm a Mozambican Member of Parliament. Can you hear English, please? Hello, 1, 2. Maria Ivone Soares, Member of Parliament from Mozambique. And in Mozambique, I'm the chair of the youth of the larger opposition party and head of the parliamentary group of Renamo. In the Pan-African Parliament, I'm the first vice president of the group of youth and member of the Committee for Justice and Human Rights. Thank you.
Bon. Je m'appelle Nassou.
I'm Nassou Katou. At PAP, I'm the first rapporteur of the Committee on Transport, and in my country, Togo, I'm rapporteur on Committee of External Relations and Cooperation. Thank you.
Je suis Touré.
I'm Touré Daouda, parliamentarian from the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire. I'm chairperson at PAP, chairperson of the Committee on Energy, Transport, Industry, Communication, Science and Technology, etc. Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Zalikato Diallo, MP from the Republic of Guinea and Secretary General of the Forum of Female Parliamentarians in Guinea, and here, member of the Committee on Land Development and Transport, and here in PAP, I'm member of the Committee on Health, Labor and Social Affairs. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Same Makhuaba Tobakai from Botswana. I'm a member of Parliament of Botswana and also a member of the Gender Committee of the Pan-African Parliament. Thank you.
Bonjour.
Good morning.
And when a child is too short for his age or her age, that child goes to school, is not having full mental development, so is not able to focus and not able to perform to their maximum academic performance. And this affects their overall growth and well-being and development. So it's a major challenge. But quite apart from undernutrition, we also have the challenge that we are contending with, which is as we evolve and develop, we are witnessing problems with overweight and obesity, which is linked to the type of food we are eating. A lot of us are eating high food that is very, very dense in ultra-processed fat, high in salt, high in sugar. And this is contributing to the problem of overweight. So for countries that are in transition, you take Nigeria, you take South Africa, you take Ghana, you take Kenya, where growing middle income class, people are actually shying away from our indigenous diversified food and focusing so much on consuming unhealthy foods that is being served by the private sector. So a lot of people are eating from Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's, a lot of Coca-Cola, Fanta, a lot of food that is not nutritious per se, but very, very dense in ultra-processed fat. So 10.3 million under 5 children are now overweight on our continent. So as we seek to address the issue of undernutrition, we are now being faced with the problem of overnutrition, overweight and obesity, which is linked to non-communicable diseases, growing up to be diabetic, growing up to have cancers, and high problems with issues on overweight and obesity. Now, 8% of adults now are overweight and obese in most of the countries. And 13 countries in Africa right now are having to manage serious levels of stunting and child under 5 or anemia in women of reproductive age and adult overweight. And so this is a very serious challenge that we are being faced with, and we have to address them. For optimal economic development, is dependent on optimal human capital. So it's critical. So over 45% of child death is linked to poor nutrition. 45%. And I don't think there is any civil unrest or war or any other problem, even disease, that is contributing so much to child death. And a child that is not well nourished, when that child is suffering from measles or diarrhea, that child is even more prone to die because their immune system is already compromised. And so they are not able to fight diseases. And so they are more likely to suffer grave consequences of infection because immune systems are weak. Looking at how much we are spending as a result of...
Thank you very much. For the interpreters, I do not have any presentation, a written presentation to share with you. Good morning to all of you. I wish to tell you that in November of 2015, we had our 6th forum in the city of Lima in Peru, and we had the honor of having the participation of members of parliament from Africa. We committed ourselves with them to walk on the same road of the projects with their assistants and colleagues, and we took the decision that we could not continue to be divided by oceans, that we could not believe that hunger has borders, and that if we had been able to walk a bit on this path, we wanted to share these successes with you, sisters and brothers. It is a road that we hope, I hope I'll be able to transmit this to all of you. I would like to tell you that the Parliamentary Front of Latin America and the Caribbean is composed by 500 members of parliament of 21 countries. We're not just any type of parliament. Our parliaments do not assign us to this front. We choose the women and men that during their lives have been militant on topics of justice. It's not the parliament that decides who should go. Women and men that wish to participate and assume the process of politics and to make politics a mission of service, and that during their life they have believed that it is very important to eliminate the worst problem that can exist, that a child, a woman, or a man can go to bed without having eaten. And this is what unites us, and that is why the Parliamentary Front gathers everybody, members of parliament from the left, and others from the right, and others from the center. And the only condition is that they should all be willing to, in their working place and in their parliaments, to struggle and fight against hunger, that all should be willing to think and know that food, regulation that have to be understood, the laws must be understood by the people in order to demand their application. Another essential element is to create spaces of dialogue between different countries and regions, promoting exchange of experiences that have been successful. In Latin America, we have had a constant exchange, and we want to have it with Africa as well, to tell you about the mistakes we've made, of our failures, and also of our achievements. And finally, we believe that it is indispensable to have solidarity amongst us. Solidarity should be thought of as a main element of development, not just about someone that gives crumbs. We need to exchange our knowledge, our food. We need to think about strategies to be able to not have hunger anymore. In international cooperation, FAO has been a very important partner, but also academics, universities should be able to share their knowledge with us. And essentially, it needs to be within the organizations of civil society, amongst the people that will allow us to evaluate if we are going on the right route. Well, the parliamentary fronts began in 2009. This dream that we can say it has had enormous accomplishments. It was within the initiative of Latin America and the Caribbean Without Hunger that was created in 2005. The formation of these fronts has been a gradual process. Obviously, as I have said, we identified parliaments and members of parliament that have the leaders and that are interested in struggle against hunger. We invited them to form the fronts in each one of our countries. And we have the support of FAO. We have a technical secretariat that is based in Santiago de Chile. I am in Ecuador. There are other colleagues that are in San Vicente and Grenadines that coordinate the Caribbean. Berta Sanseverina coordinates the southern part of Latin America, of South America. That's in Uruguay. Mario Marroquin, that's in Central America. So we've divided ourselves, and the executive coordination is in the entire region. But each one of the parliamentary fronts has a working plan. Each one has a working plan, and we meet annually in our annual forum to evaluate the program in each of our fronts. Nevertheless, the coordination of the executive secretariat, we have meetings twice per month via Skype. And each one of the coordinators of the countries we meet bi-monthly also via Skype. We share the technology that will allow us to have a constant feedback in our different fronts. And something that is important is that the fronts that are more developed in the region are permanently supervising and assisting those countries where the fronts are least developed. So we share our experiences, we assist in their development, and we share everything with them. As I said, we are a group which is multifaceted, which has many components. It has different political parties, different approaches, and it has our participatory approach with each group of civil society, with organizations of women, of the youth, of producers, of small producers, with academics, with all of the groups of civil society interested in fighting hunger. We have a regional presence and a national presence as well. We've generated different spaces to dialogue and to position each one of the topics. We're very sound in terms of our technical assistance, thanks to FAO, as well as the WHO. The Observatory for the Right to Food has more than 34 universities in Latin America and the Caribbean that gives us the necessary academic support. We have international organizations as Consumers International that works with consumers, international cooperation of Spain, Mexico, and Brazil. The following. The Parliamentary Front also promotes space of dialogue with members of parliament of other regions of the world, mainly now with Africa. So a few months ago, we were in Europe at the European Parliament to tell them about our experience. And I hope that I believe that the European Parliament, it was an interesting experience. They are interested as well in having a parliamentary front in Europe. They have many citizens that are suffering from hunger as well. The objective then in these international spaces is to enrich our international processes with international experience. We have been invited to socialize experience within the European Parliament, the Spanish one, as well as others. Which are the main topics? The legal framework, the budgets that are more adequate for the sovereignty and food security, the legislative support for public policies that become effective for the respect and realization of the right to food. We believe that it is indispensable to speak about healthy nutrition. Before you were speaking about people that have problems of overweight and obesity. This is equally just as dangerous or even more than malnutrition. And it is leaving this bad nutrition aside. We believe that the consumers must have the information regarding the contents of food. And I'd like to make a parenthesis here and tell you about an experience in my country, in Ecuador. We were able to integrate in the law of communication an article that says that any publicity with regards to food needs to have the authorization of the Ministry of Public Health. But we were also able to achieve that it's the Ministry of Public Health and Education, those that need to authorize and supervise food in the schools, in the cafeterias in schools. These two norms allowed us to make compulsory that all of the food in Ecuador needed to have the nutritional data with regards to salt, sugar, and fat. It was a hard struggle, and business people said that they were going to go bankrupt, that company agriculture. As you know, 70% of products in Latin America, I don't know how it is in Africa, but at least in Latin America, 70% are planted and cultivated by small producers. So we believe that it's very important to strengthen family agriculture. And not only the food which we receive, but to improve the conditions and the quality of life of those small producers. We believe that it is very important to understand the analysis of climate change. Climate change has been followed by within a perspective which is environmental perspective, but climate change will have a direct impact on food and of future generations as well. So we cannot stop from analyzing this topic when we talk about nutrition and food. And obviously, we need to speak about rural development, a general integrated rural development that privileges human beings over transnational, multinational companies that are only interested in other things that are not related to nutrition. Now, this shows the time frame, the development of the Parliamentary Front. In 2009, there's a conference of interparliamentary against nutrition, against hunger. Then 2010, the first seminars. Then 2011, Parliament France in Uruguay, Paraguay, República Dominicana, Mexico, and in 2012. We have the legal framework, and it's important to say this right here at the Parliament. At PAP. It's the first legal framework for sovereignty, food sovereignty in Latin America. And this law has allowed us to debate with all of the rest of our countries, and now we have more national laws. In 2013, we had the first meeting of planning of parliaments in Panama, and it was the launching of the Latin American Parliament Front. Then we had the first front in the Caribbean, in San Vicente and Grenadines, and we were so happy because in this region of Latin America that was not part of the front, of the Parliamentary Front, started to participate in our adventure. And in 2016, we now have the 7th Forum of the Parliamentary Front in Mexico in November. And we hope that you will accompany us. And we will approve the statement of CELAC on food and nutrition security. Then we will also participate in the next meeting of FAO. But what have we achieved with all of this? We have had 27 laws that have been promoted by the Parliamentary Front of Latin America and the Caribbean. 20 laws on the topic of the right to nutrition, to food, and 16 national fronts in each one of the parliaments, 4 regional fronts, and 3 subnational. We have grown so much from 2009 till now, and it hasn't been an artificial growth. It's been a process carried out with great patience and in a very solid manner. This growth, as I was saying before, and we can see this on the next, has been possible with 10 partners that have been strategic, and all of them have been welcomed. All of those that wish to work and to be part and to face this challenge to eliminate hunger in our region is welcome. And we have achieved something which is so important, to reduce from 64 to 31 million people of poor people in our region. We were the only regions from 68 to 34, the only region in the world that was able to attain the Millennium Objective. I'm not saying that it's only due to our work in the Parliamentary Front, but we're convinced that we have contributed in a substantial way to this. There's a lot to do. 34 million is already too much for a region that could feed the entire world. But we've gone down from 68 to 34 million. And that is our great achievement. And we have to maintain this. Now, I will finalize telling you that the main ideas are that we wish to share our experience with all of you. As I have said, we're here more than willing, here and in Latin America, to walk this road together and to create spaces for dialogue and to tell you how we've been able to reach certain objectives and where we have made mistakes as well, and to strengthen this relationship of exchange between countries of the South. It is indispensable to have a parliamentary world alliance of struggle against hunger. We cannot continue to fight, to work on this within our regions. We need to have a global alliance that will generate policies of that are sustainable in each state. And we think it's possible. We'd like to invite you with this optimism that we have in Latin America and the Caribbean. We hope to have the possibility to forge this alliance also with Africa. And finally, again, invite all of you to accompany us, to participate in November in Mexico. It will be our 7th forum. You were already part of our 6th forum, and in November, we would like you to be with us. We would love to have you.